Pete Duel was supposed to be a doctor. 4 generations of his family had dedicated their lives to medicine, and everyone assumed he'd follow the same path. Instead, a single-stage performance changed everything, and years later, a bullet would end everything else. Born in 1940 in Rochester, New York, Pete grew up in a household where his father was both a physician and a neighbor. The family home doubled as the medical office. His grandfather was a doctor. His great-grandfather was a doctor. The expectation was clear. But Pete had other ideas. He dreamed of flying, tried to enlist in the Air Force at 17, and was turned away because of poor eyesight. So he enrolled at his father's alma mater on a pre-med track, and promptly discovered the drama department. One performance in Tennessee Williams' The Rose Tattoo was all it took. His father watched from the audience and, by the end of the night, gave his son permission to walk away from medicine entirely. Then came the crash. During Christmas break in 1957, Pete was in a car that collided head-on with another vehicle in a New York snowstorm. He was thrown through the windshield, his face shredded by glass, his tongue nearly severed. After about a month in the hospital, doctors had repaired what they could see, but the internal bleeding and scarring in his brain had already set something in motion that couldn't be undone. Pete developed epilepsy. He was prescribed powerful anticonvulsant drugs, medications that, according to some medical researchers, have since been associated with depression, mood instability, and suicidal ideation. People close to him noticed a change. The lightness was still there sometimes, but something heavier had moved in beneath it. He moved to New York City around 1960, with no money and no connections, cleaned bathrooms at the IMCA to pay rent, and trained seriously at the American Theater Wing for 2 years. Eventually, Hollywood came calling. He appeared alongside a young Sally Field in Gidget, starred in Love on a Rooftop, was named Most Promising Male Star of 1966, and privately hated all of it. He had given himself a 5-year deadline to make it work before returning to the stage. That deadline came and went without him noticing, because by then the trap had already closed around him. In January 1971, ABC debuted Alias Smith and Jones, and Pete was cast as the quick-witted outlaw Hannibal Hayes. The show developed a devoted following, particularly among younger audiences. The chemistry between Pete and co-star Ben Murphy was, by Murphy's own description, effortless and unplanned. But the ratings struggled, the network pressure mounted, and Pete told the Los Angeles Times around this time that a television series was, in his words, the ultimate trap for any actor who genuinely cared about the craft. A DUI conviction in 1971 added to the weight he was already carrying. He wrote to the court, "I am searching hard for a meaningful life outside of my work." On the night of December 30th, 1971, Pete watched an episode of his own show at home, called it trash, switched to a basketball game, and drank heavily. Early the next morning, New Year's Eve, he was found dead at 31 years old, a self-inflicted gunshot wound at his right temple, his body slumped beneath the Christmas tree. ABC ordered production to resume within hours. A replacement was fitted into Pete's costumes the very next morning. Decades later, some film historians and journalists have suggested that Quentin Tarantino drew on Pete's life story when crafting Rick Dalton, Leonardo DiCaprio's haunted television actor in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Whether or not that's the full picture, Pete Duel deserves to be remembered not as a cautionary tale, but as a genuinely gifted actor whose inner battles proved bigger than his considerable talent. If his story stayed with you, leave a thought below, and subscribe so you never miss another forgotten legend worth remembering.